Welcome to the latest episode of Table for Two. We're now into episode 2, and I have with me tonight Alexandra, no longer Picha, Alexandra Gennaris. Welcome,
Thank
Alexandra.
you very much.
She's Gennaris because we got married, obviously. Now, we start off with the usual news, which is about Sierra Leone. There's 2 bits of news here. The first one is the arrival of medicine. Around about 1,000 exercise books and 3,000 colouring pencils to Sierra Leone. They arrived a few weeks back. Now, they've been divided into 3 separate groups. So we have our own Zinc House kids, which we're always talking about, of course. And then we have the children in Godridge Village. And finally, Father Sordelios from the church in Tower Hill. He has children that he helps as well. So we've given a massive box of books for them as well, and colouring pencils. There's still more books to go. Now, also, I've got the Dover Brooks mug out. Did you notice that?
Beautiful.
Yeah. And why have we got the Dover Brooks mug? What are they doing for us?
They are donating another bunch of uniforms.
And plus, they're going to actually pay for the freight costs, which is really
Very
important, because otherwise we're left with the cost, a bill of a couple of £100. But thankfully, they'll be helping us with that. Now, from Sierra Leone, we're going straight onto the church news for a reason. Metropolitan George of Guinea, who we both met several times, he visited London, and he was at Holy Cross, Church of Holy Cross, and Archangel Michael with Father Vissarion. His Eminence was there as well. So Metropolitan George, he is in charge of West Africa, and obviously Sierra Leone is part of his area, and it's always good to see him as well. He's a fellow Cypriot, so it's always good to see. And he's still, I mean, he's been in Guinea for many years, and he's still got his Cypriot accent. He still hasn't lost it. So it's good to see him again. Now, from there, the next day, we had the gala dinner. Now, the gala dinner was celebrating the feast day of Saint Nikitas, so obviously in honour of His Eminence Archbishop Nikitas. Now, there were 500 people attending from all over the UK. There was a contingent from Scotland. I think they came down in the kilts again. Yeah. They had their bagpiper coming along, leading the procession, which was really good to see him again. And there were communities from all over, especially Midlands. They were represented quite a lot for the gala dinner. Now, from there, the next week we had Christ the Saviour and the Baniyiri. Now, Christ the Saviour, their feast day is start of August, but they can't have their Baniyiri then because we can't have meat, because we're fasting for the 15th of August. So they have it in September, and they had it more closer to the end of September this year. But it was popular as ever. Father Haralambos, newly ordained, he was on his own. Father Thomas was away in I think Thessaloniki or Greece, so he had more people than usual, but he did a really good job. And then whilst outside, though, we had the Baniyiri starting. So the Lugmades competition happened again. So well done, the Philoptochos of Christ the Saviour. We're giggling now because whenever I go to a new church and they have Lugmades, they become top of the table for the Lugmades competition. So at the moment, Christ the Saviour and the Philoptochos are top. And they'll remain top for several months. I don't know when the next event is, probably come April. So they'll have the longest stint on top. So well done them. Now, food was provided by Simply Souvlaki, a new company based in Welling. So that was really good food again.
Very nice.
And then we had the Fab Natural Honey. Now, we mentioned this firm, I say firm, it's actually a family who have a hobby of beekeeping. And they have unprocessed honey, fresh unprocessed honey. And they're on Instagram as well, so it's Fab Natural Honey. You can find them on Instagram, and you can order your honey. And it's top honey. It's really sweet tasting and fresh. The thing is, it's unprocessed. I think is the key there. Now, this is something you're not interested in, but they'll save you espresso coffee there as well, coffee bar. So it's a mobile coffee unit, and they go around, and Saviour, named after obviously Christ the Saviour, because they're linked to the church. So it's really good that they use part of the church's name in the name of their company. And they go around with the coffee. Not Greek. I'm not sure they do Greek coffee. I'll have to have a word with them next time. I want Greek coffee on the menu. Otherwise, I'm not getting any more coffee from them. Now, Georgina and Irini were very happy with this. Very happy with this. Now, there was amazing dancing from the Christ the Saviour community dance group. They're available. I'm laughing, obviously. I'm sorry, Georgina and Irini, but they're available for festivals, birthdays, and weddings. They love what they do. Yeah, they might not be the most technically proficient, but they enjoy their dancing. And I was going to say who's the best dancer of the lot, but I won't. It'd be cruel to say it's Irini. But she's the best. Irini, it's you. She'll be on the show one day, and then she'll get to say thank you then. So that was our church news, basically. Now we've got the big news for us. We're sorry that I have to impose it on all the viewers, but we were married on, when was it, September something?
28th.
Was it 28th? Let me make a note of that, because I'm going to forget. 28th of the 9th, there, 25. All right, I'll put that on my phone so I don't forget. So we were married. We were married at St Andrew's Greek Orthodox Cathedral in northwest London, Kentish Town. Now, the wedding was historic. I mean, every wedding is historic for a reason, but for us, it was a wider reason. There were 4 languages. Probably the first time in the UK this has happened. I'll let you say the languages.
Yes, it was Greek, Romanian, English, and Vlachica or Aromanian.
So why is Vlachica so important?
It is important because, first of all, it's my father's side of the family, and it's an endangered language.
Yeah.
That we don't get to speak in official situation, in public situations, because it's not recognized in so many countries. So for us, it was really important to be able to honor our family, our ancestors, through having such a beautiful service. And we do have to thank His Eminence Archbishop Nikitas for this, and also to the clergy who made it possible,
Of course.
and to the chanters.
I mean, we had people coming from communities all over the UK for this wedding, which was a massive honour for us. And they came for the church, you know, to honour us as well, which was amazing. But we had Archbishop Nikitas, we had Bishop Iacovo, we had Father Costel from Romania, your own spiritual father, Father David Somalis, who's
proud Vlach,
of course,
proud Arman, who was also very emotional in church. I mean, his mother suffered when she was young for speaking our language, and now he got the chance to pray in our language. So again, honoring his family as well through this and our culture.
And then we had Father Christian as well. He was there, Axelberg. Now, Father Christian, obviously, he's the reason we're together. He won't admit it, but I'll keep saying it, but he's responsible for this union. And then we had Archdeacon George, who's been a rock for us. He's done so much for us. And then we have the newly ordained Deacon Ambrosius from St Andrews. So it was quite, the way it happened, it's as though it was choreographed, but it wasn't. It was all natural. We had Bishop Iakovos, first of all, in front of us starting the service off. So we weren't sure if His Eminence was going to be part of the service, because he had to rush off for a conference. I think it was in Crete, I'm not too sure, but he was going to rush off for a conference. The wedding started late, so we thought he's left, but we've got Bishop Iacovo, that's the next best thing. And then Bishop Iacovo steps to one side after his bit, and then His Eminence comes through, and he stands there, and it looked so theatrical, but it was just so natural at the same time. And at that point, that's the first time I got emotional, became emotional, and I had a few tears in my eyes when I saw His Eminence standing there.
I was floating throughout it all, but it was so nice to be able to see. It was calm, and each of the clergy members, they got the chance to say the prayers in different languages, and it was, His Eminence was like, now you.
It flowed so well as well.
Yeah, beautiful.
And then we had the chanters. I'll let you say about the chanters, since this is like your...
Yes, I'm so grateful to my teacher, Alexandros Prokopiou,
and his two sons.
Chanting as well, to Konstantinos Roshka, who is Romanian but brought up in Greece.
Yeah, That's why he's so good looking.
And he learned a bit of Vlachica as well, for which I'm forever grateful. Theodoros Liosas was there with his smile, with his chanting.
He came all the way from 12 Apostles for the wedding.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Athanasios Georgopoulos, as well as Konstantinos Kalifiotis. Very, very big thank you to all of them.
Yeah, but the thing is, I didn't get a chance to see them because I'm looking forward in front of me. So I had no idea who was to the left, really, until after the service was finished.
They sounded amazing, though.
But I was in a perfect position to turn around and take photos. I really should have had my camera with
From the center?
me. His Eminence would have said nothing. He wouldn't have said something, would he? Anyway, but to make the wedding happen, so many people came together. That's what was so important for us. We had a great videographer, which is known to both of us, Aaron, who does he does the
videos for COTI, for the Christian Orthodox Theatera Youth. So all those modern reels on their Instagram. So
he's going to make me look modern and, and groovy. I think that's the word. I don't feel I use groovy anymore. Modern and groovy. It shows my age. I use words like groovy. Then we had the photographer. Now this was interesting because people kept saying to me, are you going to take photos at your wedding? And I was saying, well, I'll just stop the service, get out my phone, do a few selfies. Obviously, it never happened. But we had Alex Coman.
Alex Coman, yes.
He was a fellow
Romanian
Romanian, yeah. And he was invisible. I didn't realise he was, until I saw him on videos afterwards. And then I thought, oh, wow, he was there. He was sneaking around. He was really good. And then we had all your things. Now, my suit took me 10 seconds to choose. Literally 10 seconds, 2 days before the wedding. Alexandra's like stressing, saying, "You got to get a suit," from months before. I said, "No, I wait the day before." No, you got to go now. So 2 days before, 3 days before, I went. No. I thought, not this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it took 7 seconds. Second pursuit along the thing. Bought my suit, and that was it. I was done. But you, first of all, you had your dress.
Yeah, from Edita, bridal veil from Andrula, actually, fellow Cypriot of yours, from Forever.
For a bridal.
Forever Bridal.
But she knew me, apparently, from 2 christenings that I photographed of her grandsons. So it was nice that there's a little connection there as well.
Community.
Yeah. Talking about community, the hairdresser.
Yes,
Nadia.
In Barnet, and she's actually the hairdresser of your sister Christina and of our kumbara, Panayota, so that was really nice to have.
We say kumbara, but
yes.
La kumbara for the show. And then makeup.
Makeup Shoba. I found her on Instagram. She was amazing. From my take on makeup, lovely.
But I told you honestly, my granddaughters, Anastasia, who's 8, and Iliana, who's 3. If you let them do your makeup, I'd have been none the wiser because I was so nervous that you could have had green lipstick. I wouldn't have known it. But you did look stunning.
Thank you.
Obviously. And like I said, we're going to get the makeup artist over once a week just to keep it going. And on me as well. No, that was good. Now, I mean, all these people are what made things easier and run smoothly, thankfully. Taste of Cyprus, the bakery and patisserie. Now, we're giving a massive shout out to them. I mean, we don't get discounts, we don't get freebies, but a shout out because they took a lot of stress out of it. I mean, even choosing a wedding cake was stressful. I never thought it. I just thought we said, "All right, give me 3 tiers, bit of icing, done." But no. We had a selection of about 20 cakes to go through, and then each cake you can add flowers or you can add this, and then we had the word love. Was it love written in 4 different languages?
In our 4 languages.
So it got even more complicated and more stressful. But Tony at Taste of Cyprus, he just made it so simple. Plus the pasticcia. Plus the day before, we had a Vlach tradition.
Yes, we prepared the chlambura, the cross that we danced with throughout the wedding. So we had the 20-something family members coming, plus the 2 fathers, the Romanian and the Vlach fathers, to come and bless the house. So we needed some lovely products from Taste of Cyprus. And again, we ordered them.
And that was it. And there's 2 days or 1 day before, and they said, "Yeah, we'll have it ready." Picked it up, brought it home, and that was it. And it went down really well. I mean, everyone loved them as well. Now, the wedding was at the only one venue I think we really wanted it to be at, and that was at the Greek Cypriot Brotherhood in Britannia Road.
Amazing food.
We've been there several times for other events. We've been there for Friday night dinners, and we wanted a typical Cypriot cuisine, and we thought we're not going to get that in some hotel. We're not going to get that in some massive venue that does just weddings. It'll be dried chicken and some carrots and some French beans, and that's it. But we went to the Greek Cypriot Brotherhood. Andreas and Anna did an amazing job. There was one person, I remember, he came back 3-4 times with his plate to get food. The food was that good, and everyone was saying how good it was. But it was literally typical Cypriot cuisine, and we all loved it.
Absolutely, and we had wonderful music as well.
Of course, well,
DJ Tass.
We had Tass. Now Tass is big in the community. I'm sure most people know him. But we had dancing with the chlambura. Now, many people had never seen the chlambura, let alone dancing with this stick on it, with a cross on a stick and a flag and apples. Were the apples still on it?
Yeah.
They were, with apples, going around dancing in circles. Now, usually these dances go on for about 3 hours, literally. You're dancing, dancing. But thankfully, we had 10 minutes of each. 10 minutes of Romanian, 10 minutes of Vlach, 10 minutes of Greek, 10 minutes of it. So we mixed it up a bit. But even our Protokumbaro, Panayoti, who won't dance, that hardly dances, he was holding the chlambura, and he was really getting into it.
Absolutely.
I think he might have some Vlach blood. We better do ancestry DNA with him, because I've got 1%.
You definitely
so maybe
have 1%.
he's got 0.5%. But yeah. Now we have to mention also Lauren from GLH, Greater London Hire. Now this is the firm that's been around since 1966. They do private hire vehicles. They're constantly winning awards. Now, we had Lauren arranging transfers from 2 airports, to and from 2 airports. She had transfers to our home address. She had transfers to Beverly House Hotel in Paddington. She had to pick up a priest from East Hyde, Church in East Hyde. She had to pick up from our house, take them to St Andrews. Now, the logistics behind that for me would have been crazy. I'd have had to have a spreadsheet and do it all like that. But she managed everything. No, they were never late.
Yeah.
Always there, and they got everyone to where they had to go. So massive shout out to GLH, and we'll definitely use their services again when your family start flying over.
Yeah.
And then the final mention is what we have on our fingers here. Now this is Ozcan Jewelers. I've used them since my daughter Marina was a year old, when she had her ears pierced. It's the only jewelers I will trust for anything, whether it's earrings, a cross, a chain, and I thought the only place we can go for the rings is them. Even your engagement ring, they resized it, they polished it, and they got that ready as well. And that actually, I don't know, I should say how much that cost to get it ready, but it was really cheap, by the way. But yeah, so that's Ozcan Jewelers, based in Waltham Cross and Haringey as well. Now, on to the honeymoon. It was Alexandra's first time in Cyprus. Last time I went to Cyprus was 15 years ago, quite shamingly, or shamefully, it was 15 years ago. But it was Alexandra's first time. Even though hopefully you can try and get some work trips to Cyprus, and then I can come along as your escort to take you around, as your chauffeur, anything.
I prefer more holidays.
No, do it for work, and I can go beach whilst you're doing the work in the conferences. And so we went to Cyprus. Now, there's lots of news about Cyprus, but I think for me one of the best moments for me was we were at a petrol station in Larnaca. I had a hire car. We had loads to pick from, and I kept missing them on the motorway, missing them. And then finally went to Larnaca, found a petrol station, pulled up, and there was an African guy putting the petrol. And I always say hello to people, and I don't mind asking, oh, where are you from? Where was he from? Sierra Leone, where we do all our charity work. So he said Sierra Leone. I said in Sierra Leone in Creole, Audi body. Audi body means how are you? So first of all he had this look of shock on his face. He goes, what's it? He's saying Audi body. And then this big smile on his face. And he was so happy that he just heard his language in Cyprus from me, from a Cypriot. So I told him about the work I do in Sierra Leone. Then I went in to pay. There was a Cypriot woman there. And I said, oh, I was talking to your guy and he's from Sierra Leone. I do work in Sierra Leone. She goes, my 3 workers, they're all from Sierra Leone. So straight away I thought, all right, I'm going to come out. I'll call them all together. We took a selfie together, and I told them how I say the Lord's Prayer in Sierra Leone Creole in our churches, and they were and I started reading it to them, and they were shocked. But they're all so happy, and that kind of really made my day. Made my week. Not including the wedding, obviously, but that made my week. Meeting 3 Sierra Leoneans at a petrol station in the middle of Cyprus, literally the middle of Cyprus. Now, going on from there, we had the Battle of the Mercedes. Now, I don't know if anyone's familiar with a restaurant, or 2 restaurants in Sodira. There's Musikos and there's Dokoduki Tubagheri. Now, we went to Musikos first, booked a table there, went there, and we ordered meze, because they're famous for their halloumi, homemade halloumi. So we had the meze. They bought snails as well, which a lot of people don't like snails, but we love the snails. And they're done the simple Cypriot way, which is with lemon, olive oil, no garlic, butter, or whatever it is the French do with them. We have them plain and simple, the Cypriot, the man's way. but you loved them.
I did.
You did, yeah. That was really good. And then the next night we ended up at Dokoduki Tubagheri, just by chance, because we were let down by a coach bus ride to the wine festival. So we thought, let's go Bagheri. Now, what did you order? Now, bearing in mind, we just had the biggest meze in our lives. Day after, we're still full up from the night before. What did you order?
Well, they convinced me for meze.
They didn't convince you. You just said meze. They were sitting there waiting. I wanted macaroni di forno, to be honest. Something light, I thought. And then you got meze. So I was
sounded too good.
I thought it can't be as big as last night's.
It was bigger.
They bought the first lot of things. Then there was a plate with 2 fried eggs on toast, freshly made bread. Then they bought actual bread as well. Then they bought this, then they bought that, and then they bought more. And we're still trying to eat what's there, and then they bring even more. And then they bring even more. And then, now, personally, I got through my share of the meats.
I had no
of
chance
the souvlaki, of the ribs, of the works. You fitted nothing in your tummy by then.
Yeah, it was quite good that the next day we had the trip, so thankfully we took some food to go.
Yeah.
Leftovers.
Yeah, it worked well in that respect.
Really good places, but we need to space out these things next time.
Definitely. Now went on a boat tour, on a cruise, just about 30 people. It was the Yellow Boat Tours with Captain Andrea, who's been doing this job for 30 years. He's a year younger than me. And he's been doing this for 30 years. And I said I wanted to mention his work, the 2 key people working for him. So there's Sammy and there's Agatha. But he goes, no, you have to say Sammy, the chicken engineer. So Sammy, the chicken engineer, you're the one. He cooked our food on this barbecue on the boat, basically. Amazing thing. And then Agatha, now her title is Living the Dream, which is their slogan. So Agatha is Living the Dream, and then the Sammy Chicken Engineer, as named by Captain Andres, not by me, but by Captain Andres. So you can't really argue with a captain. He can even marry people. You know that? I think that's what they say. Now, but the highlight of that cruise was the turtles. We got to swim with the turtles.
Yeah, it was so beautiful.
Was it not Fig Tree Bay? What was it?
Maybe the Blue Lagoon.
Blue Lagoon, okay. And these turtles, apparently, found out a few days later, they go along the coast from Baralimni, come along to this site, and then they go back across in the evening again. And they're very friendly. They're not scared of human beings. Obviously, we're not there to harm them. But it was really, really lovely to see. Now, we're going to mention Clarabelle restaurant in Ayanapa for a reason. Now, we went to a restaurant, Clarabelle, owned by a guy called Mihaly. He's a first cousin to one of our good friends, Anthony, he went with his wife, Helen. And we met up at this restaurant, and it must have been on a Saturday. So it was on a Saturday. And we thought, we'll go to, what was the church we're going to go to? Panayiotis.
Yes.
Church called Panayiotis, recommended by a priest. And then Mihaly says to us, the church across the road to Banaya is Father Vasilios, and he does charity work for Madagascar, which is part of Africa. So we thought, we can't miss out on this opportunity to go and meet a fellow Cypriot who helps Africa. So off we went for the service the next morning, early in the morning. It's 7 in the morning. I think it was 7 because the other church is 6:30. So come 7 in the morning, we were at church. And it was actually a memorial service for a young guy, Lugas Luga, who sadly was killed at the age of 17 during the days of Elga in the 50s. Wreaths were laid at his memorial in the town. There was an MP, Yorgos Garoulas, who gave a speech in church, and during the memorial he's one of the people who laid a wreath. And I got in touch with him on WhatsApp, and he was so touched by the fact that I was sending him photos immediately, and also the work we do. He was that fellow Cypriot who lives in a different country still takes an interest in Cyprus, which is very, very important. In fact, on our way to Ayos Pavlos, there were 2 memorials there for soldiers who fell. One, an Olga soldier, a young guy, and one was a soldier who fell in '74 during the Turkish invasion. So Denk Sechno was kind of told to us at a very young age from 1974. But Denk Sechno, it spans not just 51 years, but 70 years, even longer than that. We never forget as Cypriots, and we must never forget. So that's really important. Now, after church, we met a guy called Athanasios. Now, Athanasios is of Nigerian origin, living in California. Now, I was just chatting generally to him, and I mentioned that he says Nigerian. I said, well, the first college in Sierra Leone is Nigerian built, called the Naja College. And he goes, oh, my mum's from Sierra Leone.
What
I thought, what a coincidence. So we see 3 people at the petrol station from Sierra Leone. Now we meet a guy whose mother is from Sierra Leone. And then I said, oh, next door in Guinea, we have the Metropolitan George of Guinea. And he goes, oh, my mum's in Guinea at the moment. So all these connections with this one guy, which is, I mean, it's amazing to just to think about all the coincidences. Now, I mentioned Ayos Pavlos for a reason. It was obviously your first time in Cyprus. Your first time in Ayos Pavlos. Was it your first time? I mean, you're used to mountains because of Romania, obviously. But for me, the mountains are Drodos, Apitsia, and Ayos Pavlos. And where my great grandfather served as a priest, it's said that the Apostle Paul and Apostle Barnabas went through the village. They stopped at the bridge. They asked for a church to be built and named after Apostle Paul, which was St. Peter and St. Paul. So Ayos Pavlos is a very, very important place. Now, the saddest moment for us is going to Varosha, the ghost city. I battled with my conscience to go.
I insisted. I admit.
Yeah, and I didn't want to say no to my wife. It wouldn't be fair to not to go. So we went through down the road, either side of the old ghost town. This is now railings and fences. We took a left towards the beach. We went down to the beach, and at that point, I cried when I saw the beach. I remembered as a child my father taking me into the sea and just walking and walking and walking, and all we could see now were old hotels falling apart, a beach with a couple of Turkish families who belonged to the high-up soldiers, and we couldn't even step onto the sand or go into the waters there. That were our waters. So that was a very, very difficult moment. We had 2 guides, Mr. John and Mr. Ahmed, Turkish Cypriot, or Greek Cypriot and Turkish Cypriot, who are supposed to be enemies. That's how they're seen, as enemies.
And they're definitely
I mean, I shared a moment with Ahmed when we both cried in front of all the English tourists that were on the tour. And I said, look, we're enemies. We're supposed to be enemies. And he said it's not an ethnic or a religious problem, he said.
Not at all.
It's beyond that. There's a lot more we could say obviously about Mr. Ahmed and Mr. John. They're phenomenal people. They do a wonderful job letting people know, just getting this awareness out there.
From their personal experience.
Yeah. And like I said, that was a very, very emotional moment for me. Now, just to quickly say that Mr. Ahmed was saying there's probably 1 Turkish Cypriot to every 7 Turkish people living in the occupied part of Cyprus. I think it was from Larnaca, he was saying. Yeah, he had to go to the occupied part where he had to learn a new language. His Turkish wasn't the way. It's like with Cypriots and people from Greece. The Greek is different. So he had to learn this new language. He had to practice a religion which he hadn't really practiced. I mean, he used to eat pork. And so he had to do that. So it's very, very, very sad. I mean, it's a very, very big topic, but we're going to leave it at that. Reason being, I want you to very, very quickly tell us about the Vlach conference in Austria.
Yeah, 31st October at the Austrian Academy of Sciences. We're going to take a first step with academia from all over the world, from Americas to Europe, every country, in the hope that we can get a standardized way of writing our language.
And I'll be there with my camera.
Thank you so much for coming.
Okay, thank you, viewers, for joining us tonight. A few sad moments, a few happy moments, but we'll see you again next time on Table for Two.
Thank you.